We're starting. I got a feeling that tonight gonna be a good night. Hello, everybody. This is your faithful friend Sandra Graves, and welcome to the Code. Today we are going to be talking about master your mind. No, it's not going to be just about positive thinking and all that. It's going to be a little beyond that because the woman that I have in front of me, she's from Cyprus. Yes, I don't know if you know where that is, but it's beside Greek and all the way over there. And I was talking to her, and she's so much fun to talk to. And of course, her birthday is during my birthday in April, so we have like some hot personalities, like really amazing personalities. I mean, you can tell, you can tell. And her name is Nadia. Themis, Nadia Themis, and it was a lot of fun just talking to her. You know, before I started the show, she has so much she want to share with you, and let's get to know her. She is a life coach and she is a motivational speaker and she does conferences and her strength is finance. I was learning so much about her, but instead of telling about her secrets, I want her to tell you about who she is. So Nadia is all yours. Tell us about who Nadia is before we start this conversation about the master your mind.
Thank you, Sandra. Thank you for the amazing introduction. Now, people they have high expectations from me, and I'm very, very excited about it. Thank you for having me with you, and you are so inspiring. Thank you. And yeah, it's the April thing, maybe, I don't know.
Yes.
And yeah, I'm from Cyprus, it's a Greek small island somewhere in the Mediterranean. And I've been living between Cyprus, London, and New York. Hello, America. And yeah, I've been a life coach the last 5 years, and I've been in finance for the last 19 years. And after fed up with numbers, and I realized that I want to create more impact in the world than I was creating impact in their finances, which is important, of course, but I want to create more impact on their lives. And after my own hardships of my own life that I had and difficulties, I realized that, wow, we can change our life if we want to. And we can indeed control our mind.
That's right.
And yeah, and that was the secret of changing my life.
Yeah.
When I realized that I can, if I understand how I'm thinking, then I can change the way I'm thinking.
Right.
And therefore change my life.
So before we get into that about changing your life, why do you feel that you wanted to change your life? I mean, nobody want to change your life as your life is going really great. Oh, everything is lovely.
Yes.
So I'm going to change my life. Why?
Yes, thank you for the question. Well, from the age of 5 that I was start to understand what was happening around me, in my family, we grew up very poorly. And everybody was saying to me that, it's okay to be poor. It's okay not to be able to eat well, to live well. And I don't talk about the extraordinary life.
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking about the basics,
Yes.
And yeah, and I was raised up wearing second-hand clothes. And it was very, very bad for our self-esteem and our psychology as children. So at that age, I was like a rebel, and I was saying, but I don't like this kind of life. I don't want to be living like that.
Yeah.
I want to be able to eat variety of food.
Yes.
And yeah, and
and I am all for eating about all the food that I want. So yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah, for years when I was able and I had money to eat, I was eating a lot. And I said to them, I had the syndrome of war, that you are afraid that somebody will steal your food. Yeah, I had that.
Yeah.
So from that age, I had in my mind that this is not my destiny. Mm-hmm. And I was always trying to understand what makes people successful, what is success, and how can I be successful, and how can I understand. I was curious about how we think, the way we think.
Yeah.
And that was my biggest, I think, question in life. And time. These two things. How I control time. I know it sounds weird, but it was a very big question from
So
the
you
very
figured out already how to control time? You did?
Yeah, yes, I did. It's a secret. Please don't share that. Don't tell anyone.
So you can actually have 36 hours instead of 24 hours? That is amazing.
In here.
Okay.
So
So keep
yeah,
going.
yeah. So that was the first motive, let's say, that to change my life. And growing up, that was the goal
Yeah.
of my life, to change my destiny. It wasn't easy. Definitely, it wasn't easy because change cannot be done just like that.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah.
So what is the first thing that you did in order to be able to master your mind, in order to change your life? What did you do?
When I finished my studies, I got married, my high school love, and that didn't work out well. And that decision, Sandra, was the first decision of changing my life. Because coming from a very small society, you grow up, you study, then you have to get married, then you have to have children, and that's it.
Yeah.
And again, I did that because I was programmed to do that.
Yeah.
Because you raised up in that model,
Mhm. Yeah.
And yeah, so at the age of 26, I had my daughter, and then I realized that I wasn't happy in my marriage. But it wasn't that easy to say
Walk
that
away.
to
Yeah.
family, and I felt the need. And then I was starting to observe in myself, because I felt the need that I needed to have the acceptance from my parents in order for me to divorce.
Yeah.
And of course, they didn't accept me to divorce because I needed to stay for the children, for the sake of the family. And then I got bulimic because I couldn't control what was happening around me, but I could control what I was eating and not eating.
That's right.
So I started creating vomiting of myself, and then I became anorexic. And that was a very difficult and hard challenge of my life, let's say. But as you said to me before, and I will say it again to our audience, is that everything happens for a reason, and I do believe that.
Mm-hmm.
And I do believe that. But you need to see that reason.
Yes. Yes.
You
Need to figure it out. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that was the first decision that made me feel that I need to change my life, because it didn't work out as I was planning when I was young, And to be honest, it wasn't my first plan to get married and have children. And I said to myself, you are just 28 years old. I think you can change that. You have your children, but you can still go after and chase your dreams, because I was always, Sandra, I was always ambitious. Because from the age of 5, I wanted to have my own business, and I wanted to make money like most of the people.
Yeah.
Able to eat well. That was my
So
goal.
at the age of 5, did you try to do businesses with your friends and things like that, sell them something? Because I know when I was little, I tried to talk people into buying stuff, talk people into doing stuff, selling stuff to them. Did that happen to you too?
Yeah, I was I wasn't the classic girl play with dolls and wearing dresses. I had always, I remember, fights with my mom because she wanted me to wear dresses and to be a girl, and I wasn't wearing trousers and my hair, yeah, and I was so
That was me. That was me. That's for sure. That was me. I find that my sister, she will dress me up like a girl and try to put pink and yellow stuff in my hair when I had hair. And then, you know, I will get mad. I will go play with the boys, climb the trees, and by the end of the day, I have holes in my pants and hole in my clothes and everything. And she gets so mad. But that was that spirit that we have already, that we know this is what I want. I know what I want. I just don't know yet what it is, but I know what I want, right?
And I was selling, but you know, my most, the thing that I remember now as we're talking, when I was a child, it was that I was trying always to help the weak people. That was, I was weak because I had a lot of bullying in school, because we were poor, because, you know, we were eating at that time, we were having, you know, the school was offering food for the people that didn't have money, and that was a stigma, you know.
Yeah.
And it took me years and years to get away, to get off that stigma of being poor.
Yes.
Because you always need you have this need to prove. Yeah, now I think that I'm okay.
Good,
I don't
good.
have to prove anything.
I think you're okay too. I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you. You're okay.
Yeah.
But we have to experience that in order for us to appreciate what we have now, in order for us to be able to be where we are right now. Because I know they have a saying in Spanish is, I was born poor and I'm going to die poor. And people was happy with that. And I wasn't happy with that. I'm like,
Yeah.
I want to eat a lot of chocolate cakes, and I want to have parties, and I want to travel the world, and I want to eat lots of chicken, fried chicken, baked chicken, every chicken. I just want to eat, you know. And I had a hard time when we would sit down and I would watch a TV and everybody's eating everything they want, and there's no food on my table. I said, I want to eat everything that I want, and now I can do that. You know?
And now I became vegan.
Give me 5.
Yeah. So we ate a lot, and now we need to be again back to the base, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, okay, so tell me, what was the next step? The first step was the decision process, because that is the most important step in the whole thing. A lot of people know that something is missing. They know that they want to change. They think about it. They make the situation just keep going, but they don't make that decision. And you make that decision that you said, I want a change. So what was next?
Next was that I divorced. My husband was a little bit, my ex-husband was a little bit crazy. We had a lot of abuse and violence. And I paid him off. Maybe I am from the few women that pay their husband just to leave them, you know, in a way. So I was penniless in an apartment, rent apartment with my 2 children. And I remember very intensively one day I woke up and I didn't have money to put gasoline in my car to get them to school. And I was beating up myself and crying a lot. And that moment, Sandra, I looked at them, they were sleeping. And that moment I said, because, you know, everything changed in my life when I realized that it was my responsibility.
Thank you.
It wasn't my mom because she was poor. It wasn't my dad. It wasn't my sister. It wasn't God. It wasn't the neighbor.
Yeah.
It was all about me.
Yeah.
And that moment I said, what am I doing?
Uh-huh.
I'm here and crying, and what am I doing? I mean, I am responsible for my life. And then I reminded myself, I took myself years back when I was 5, and I was saying, you know what, I want to be a businesswoman, I want to conquer the world. And I said to myself, where is that little girl? And now many times I say to people, if you want to find your passion, go back when you were young, what you wanted, what did you want to do in your life?
Exactly.
And that was a breakthrough in my life. And I said, from the decision that I had to divorce, that was the moment of the decision to change and try to manifest my destiny. And that was the beginning of it. So that moment I took the children to, oh my God, that was a very stressful day actually, because I was driving and I was so anxious if the car was going to the direction without staying in the street, you know, from gas.
Yes.
We did it. Yes, we did it. And I went to the guy that I used to work with, and I quit my job, and I said, you know what, I will do something on my own. And I was penniless, and there was a crisis then, 2008, and financial crisis, and everybody was saying to me, are you crazy? Because I was in finance, and I was setting up business globally. And I said to them, you know what, I said business for other people for more than 13 years back then. I want to do that for my own self. Yes. And you know what? I will try, because because I had many issues with my health after anorexia, and I reached to a point where the doctor said to me, you know, Nadia, I was between of having cancer or not, and the doctor said that day, the doctor said to me, Nadia, you need to decide if you want to live or if you want to die. Mm-hmm. And then I look at him and I remember myself wearing this white shirt, you know, in hospital. And I said to myself, shit, that's a decision, right? I said, no, you know what? I want to live, and I want to live well.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. And with that said, I have here, let me see if I can put it, what you said. Okay. Oh, right here. Decision and responsibility. That was the first two things. I was trying to write that down because sometimes we forget what we are talking about. Decision and responsibility. And you ended your responsibility. You clear it and you say, I want to live and I want to live well. Right? So with that said, what we're going to do, we're going to take a commercial break. And when we get back, I want you to tell me more about that living well.
Every Thursday at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. Don't forget, we're bringing you coaches, speakers, classes, and much more. We are here to help you grow. Don't forget, we are here every Thursday at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time.
Well, welcome back to The Code. And right now, I'm really enjoying the conversation that I'm having with Nadia Themis. She is pretty unique. I like her energy and I like her realness. That's one thing that I do love about her. Because a lot of people, they want to tell you stories, but they only want to tell you the pretty things. They want to paint it and they want to change the way they talk. They're so proper, you know, and all that kind of stuff. And you know what? Only you're going to be able to change people's life when you are real with yourself and with others. And that's the reason why she was able to talk about making that decision and taking responsibility for your life. Stop blaming other people for the things that happened to you. Yes, it happened. So what? What you can do about it now is take responsibility for your life. Stop being a victim and make a decision to be victorious. This is what my Nadia have decided to be. And that's the reason why she's here sharing this with us. I love this woman. So, Nadia, please keep telling us more about this master in your mind.
Yeah, you know, I was able to master my finance, but in my personal life, I wasn't happy because again, I was blaming other people. You know, it's much easier, Sandra, right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah,
It is.
it's not my responsibility. It's hers. It's his. You know, it's not me. God made us like that.
Yes.
But that's what I'm saying to people. That it's very important to be accountable first of all to us, towards us, but when I had responsibility again, I was beating up myself. I was the worst critic of my own self.
Yes, yes, it happens.
And then again, I realized in the long run, because as we said before, it's a process.
Yeah.
It doesn't happen in a day. So it's a process. And when I was working, I was going that journey of changing my way of thinking and be able at the end of the day to master my mind, was that, you know what? You are responsible, but you can love yourself. You can love your strengths and your weaknesses. And then we go to the first point that I wanted to tell you about how to master your mind based on my experience at least, and we keep learning every day, right? Well, the first thing was the self-awareness, to understand my strengths and my weaknesses. You know, finance helped me a lot, even in my personal development. How? I will tell you now. Strengths and weaknesses, you know, in business school, one of the first things we do is SWOT analysis. So when I was trying to understand myself and master my mind, master my own destiny, and create the destiny that I wanted, that I was dreaming about, I said to myself, okay, so what tools do I have here? Like in finance, you know, you sit down and you think, you go through what I have, my pros and cons, how can I invest, if I can invest, and all that. So I was saying that from my character, from my personality. And I took the strengths and my weaknesses, because we all have strengths and weaknesses. My problem back then was that I was paying too much attention to my weaknesses. Mm-hmm. And I was trying to fix them. And then I said, but this is not what I'm doing when I'm working. I pay attention more to my strength and how can I invest better and what can I do with my business. So I was seeing myself as my business. Mm-hmm. So I was emphasizing of my strength, and I started loving my weaknesses.
Mm-hmm. Embracing them. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and you know what was the biggest thing? To forgive myself for the mistakes that I've done.
Yes, yeah. This is something that people don't talk about, but yes, that is the big one. I know for me it was.
Yeah, and I have goosebumps now, because you know it's not easy. It's not easy, and forgiveness. It's another chapter. Maybe we can talk about that for hours.
Yes.
Me and you can talk.
We're gonna do a show just on forgiveness.
Yeah, and so that made me start loving myself.
Yeah.
Because with the sickness that I had, and that wasn't a proof that I love myself. That was a proof of punishing myself.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So at some point I said, you know what? As Einstein says, if you keep doing the same thing, it's insane if you are waiting for something to change. Yes. And I said to myself, my life doesn't go to the direction that I really want to go, so maybe I need to change something. But what I want to say to people again is that the second step is first to understand ourselves, to be self-aware of what we can do, what we can do, because we cannot do everything. We might be talented in many things, but we need to emphasize the good parts of us, because this will help us to be more self-confident, to love more ourselves, and then everything happens like magic. That's what I believe. It's a process, but when you get there, life is beautiful indeed, right?
Life is a highway. I want to ride it all night long. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. You've
So-
got amazing voice, actually.
No, thank you, thank you, thank you. Oh. So what is that third process in your processes? We talk about self-awareness, and we talk about what was the second one you said?
The second one is underlying beliefs.
Underlying beliefs, and the third one is what?
And the third one is the rule of three. I will tell you about the rule of three.
Okay, tell us, and try. Come on. I'm hungry.
Now,
Come on, tell us.
yeah. So the underlying beliefs is that many times, Sandra, we think that we are living our own life, but most of the times we don't. Why? Because we live the life that other people imposes to us.
That's right.
Yeah, because when I wanted to divorce and I was miserable, I was sick, and I was dying, and my husband was beating me up, but everybody was saying to me that, no, you have to stay there. And I couldn't understand that why I have to stay here.
Yeah.
I will die.
Yeah.
And I'm too young to die. And I have so many things to give toward the world and to get from the world. I couldn't really understand that. And it was a very big struggle to be able to understand and hear my own voice. I didn't know the voice that I had in my head, if it was mine or it was my mom's, my dad, the neighbors, the relatives, and the family,
Yeah.
and all that. I couldn't recognize who I was, what I was thinking. And that was a breakthrough again. And then I created the wall of doubts. Because I had so many voices in my head. When I wanted to start my own business, I had no money. And my mom was like, being poor and being like, oh, that's your destiny. You need to be like, it's okay,
You're like,
honey.
no, stop there.
Yeah, exactly. I would say, no. But I had so many voices, I was getting crazy. And then I said to myself, okay, how can I think clearly? And then I created a wall of doubt. Wall of doubt, it's an imaginary wall, or you can have your own real wall, like here. And like this wall here, I will try this like an example. I was imagining that I was putting these yellow sticks, the Post-it.
Yeah.
So I was writing on that sticks in my mind, my thoughts, mom, dad, sister, ex-husband, children, and all that, me. And by doing that, in seconds, you distance yourself from your own brain.
Mm-hmm.
So with this exercise, let's say, you are able to see your own mind and the voices of the others.
Yes. Separate
So
them.
that
you're able to separate them. Yeah.
exactly, and that helped me to understand what is mine and what is not, and to accept and reject. And then I had my own recycle bin. Like, you are coming for software, so you know what is recycle bin. So I had my own software, because it's all about software. Our brain's the biggest computer ever, right?
Yeah.
So I had my recycle bin, and from that wall, I put in that recycle bin. I kept it for a while, maybe, to decide if I want some of that opinions, of that thought, or if I didn't, just delete, clear, and throw away.
Yeah.
So that was the second. And the third, yeah.
Oh, keep going. We get into the end of it, but go ahead. Let's go closing.
Yeah, and the end of that was the rule of three. One day I was driving the car and I was miserable. I was crying, and I had, we have this Greek song that it makes you more miserable because you want to cry more. You want to feel like, oh my God, I'm the biggest victim in life. Why this happened to me? This thing. And that moment, I stopped because I couldn't drive. My eyes were like that. I said, what are you doing again? Crying? Okay, cry out, burst. But then what? You need to put a deadline in everything we are passing through in our life. You need to put a deadline. And from the young age, my mom, she was always talking about nuggets for three. 3 times close, she was obsessed with some things, but that 3 was in my mind too. So I said to myself that you can overcome anything in 3 minutes. Maybe it's too short, but maybe sometimes depends from the thing you are having. 3 hours, 3 days, 3 weeks, or 3 months. 3 years is too long. Too long. So I have these 3, Sandra, in my mind for all my goals. When I put goals in in business and in personal life, but mostly in business, I have these 3. We have 4 trimesters through the year, right? So if you have your goals exam, you revalue every 3 months, it's easier to control the damage. Again, we go back to finance, but that goes in all aspects in our life. So by 3, I mean that you need to put a deadline in what you are doing, in what you are having. We are facing difficult challenges, because if you don't put a deadline, it's like being a roller coaster. It goes like,
yeah.
You need to know when this ends,
Yeah.
because goal has to have a deadline.
Yes.
In that order, you control it, you take it where you want to. You master it. That's what we are talking about today, how to manifest your own brain. So you manifest that by knowing who you are, and I will sum up, by being self-aware of your strength and your weakness. Please love yourself, love your weaknesses, embrace, hug yourself. Every day wake up and say to yourself, like I do, really I do that, say, good morning, beautiful, what a great day you are having today. And you know, and even through the day that I might have not that great day, I keep saying that it's okay. It's okay. You need to have challenges, or else life will be too boring, right?
Yeah. And you know what? We got to the end of this just when it was sweet, but I'm going to say it ended really good. You ended with really love yourself. And loving yourself does not mean ego. Loving yourself does not mean stepping on others. Loving yourself is allowing yourself to be who you are and allowing others to be themselves as well. That's what loving yourself is. So thank you so much, Nadia, for being with us today. Please, if you are interested, please go. If you like what you heard, visit Nadia. This is her website in the back, nadiathemis.com. Visit her there. Ask her question. You can see she's full of life. She's full of, she's ready to help you embrace your thoughts, embrace your thinking, change your mind, change the way you are living. But it's all up to you. It's not her responsibility. It's not my responsibility. It's not anyone's responsibility. It is your responsibility. So I am going to, even though we passed the time, I'm going to have Nadia say the last word. The last word, not a sentence, the last word.
The last word is to embrace yourself again. Really, it's to forgive yourself. It's fine. Nobody's perfect. We are human beings, and we are here to enjoy, live, eat well, and have fun. Forgive yourself, because if you start forgiving yourself, then you forgive others. And be kind. Be kind. That's what I'm saying to people.